stands to protect your interests, especially intellectual property or creations as either artistic or executive producers of music.
Gambian music producers and promoters believe they have long been robbed of the fruit of their labor through piracy. That misery, according to this convergence, will soon be a thing of the past with the enactment of the Gambia Copyright Act by the National Center for Arts and Culture and the current implementation of the Collecting Society of the Gambia, which will constitute only personnel from the professional artistic associations.
You're coming together as an association. I mean an active and vibrant one for that matter, would no doubt help in safeguarding your collective interest, lobbying and applying for grants for implementation of programs and activities. As you may already know, the NCAC is the agency charged with the preservation, promotion and development of arts and culture in this country.
Gambian music have been great. Artists in Gambia have never enjoyed the benefits of the fruits of their labor as other countries that have music schools. Other countries that have educated their artists have been collecting royalties from day one. They have been educated, they have been synthesized, very much so at class 1, class 2, before they are at the age of 6. Now we are starting, it's long overdue, but nothing is too late. And it's a great honor to understand from this meeting that most Gambian music will be on Gambian airwaves, that producers of Gambian theater and drama will be on GRTS.
Hasum Sise, the director of the Copyright Bureau, further explains the immense benefit of the Copyright Act.
Section 42 also says the producer of a musical work has the right to authorize or to prohibit the reproduction, the importation, the distribution, the rental, or the broadcast of his or her production.
This milestone event is an offshoot of the consultative forums the NCAC new management has been engaging with a view to promote the interests of Gambian film and music producers and promoters. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
You can monitor GRTS radio on our website at www.grts.gm. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Welcome back. Over to news from beyond our borders. Malians have expressed outrage after Islamists amputated the hand of a young man said to have stolen a motorcycle. The incident, which happened in the south of the capital, Bamako, has raised alarm among Muslims living in the country. As we hear in the CFI report, Muslim leaders have denounced the act.
News from the north of the country, which is under the control of militant Islamists, has caused alarm in the capital, Bamako, in the south. Islamists cut off the hand of a young man accused of stealing a motorcycle in Ansango, close to the main regional town of Gao.
Apart from Saudi Arabia, we have never seen such an act in any other country with a Muslim majority.
It's really a shame. It's inhuman on the part of a human being to hide behind the veil of religion to amputate the hand of another human being.
I think this is extremely violent.
The chief cleric of Yiri Madio Mosque condemns the amputation, which he says does not respect Sharia law, which is very strict in cases of theft.
The decision to amputate someone's hand involves a lot of factors. A lot of reasons have to be considered. You can't just accuse someone of stealing without proof and cut off their hand like that.
The Islamist group Ansar Eddin claims to want to conquer southern Mali through persuasion, but Mali's local Muslim population is putting up resistance. Last Sunday, a group of young Malians succeeded in preventing an attempted amputation. The resistance hasn't succeeded in preventing the destruction of ancient shrines in Timbuktu or the stoning to death of an unmarried couple. Meanwhile, Mali's communications minister announced that military action is inevitable if Bamako is to regain control of the north of Mali.
U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has commended the President of Benin for his accomplishments. Clinton, who is on the last day of her tour of the African continent, said the president has accomplished a lot as head of the AU. An Egyptian president, Mohamed Morsi, has visited the Sinai to boost the morale of troops stationed there. Morsi's visit follows the recent attack on Egyptian border guards by unknown assailants. Let's take a look at the CFI report for more on those and other stories.
Benin was the last stage of U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's tour of Africa. She was there on Friday and took the opportunity to praise the work accomplished by the head of state, Thomas Boni Yayi, currently chairperson of the African Union.
And thank you again for the extraordinary work we are doing together. And thank you, Mr. President, for your role with the African Union, bringing peace and stability and development and opportunity to this great continent.
The U.S. Secretary of State's African tour began on the 31st of July, and Clinton visited 9 of the continent's countries. According to a number of observers, she worked on trying to counter China's growing influence. Egypt's president has visited the Sinai. Mohamed Morsi wanted to boost the morale of troops who were deployed in the peninsula to fight against extremist groups. It's the second time since the recent border attack that the Egyptian head of state checked up on police and army operations in the Sinai. At least 13 people have died and 70 others have been wounded in 2 car accidents in Tanga in the east of Tanzania. A heavyweight vehicle hit a car that was parked on the side of the road. The car passengers were about to help people whose car had fallen down a ravine. The victims were Christian Kenyans who were taking part in a religious ceremony in Dar es Salaam.
Severe drought has affected the Midwest part of the United States, slowing down agricultural productivity. The development has immensely contributed to the spiraling cost of grain. As CFI reports, the Food and Agriculture Organization has called on the U.S. to reduce its production of biofuel to avert a food crisis.
Following record high temperatures in July, the United States have been experiencing a drought for 2 months. The Midwest, which is where most of the country's cereal is cultivated, has been hardest hit. Soya and corn harvests aren't very promising for a country that usually turns out 40% of the world's cereal production.
Even as late as June 25th, we probably had as much potential as we've ever had for a big crop. And just in the last 3 weeks, we really took a turn for the worst.
According to the country's agriculture minister, corn and soya production should be down by 13% this year. Wheat has also been affected. The drought has also had an impact on other big players like Russia and Ukraine. In Chicago's stock market, the value of wheat and corn has already gone up.
In the short term, you'll see prices at your dinner table rise 3 to 5%, and ultimately, if we really don't get an answer to this question, it could be a 10% rise for the next 6 to 8 months.
The rise in cereal prices will also affect the price of meat and milk. Countries who import cereal are very concerned because of the 2008-2009 food riots that are still fresh in people's minds. The Food and Agriculture Organization for the United Nations has asked the United States to reduce its production of biofuel, which uses corn, so as to diminish the risk of a new food crisis.
And before we go, a quick recap of our headlines. President Jammeh has lowered the cost of meat sold at retail outlets owned by Kanilai family farms. Gambian artists have deepened efforts aimed at protecting their works and maximizing the gains they should derive from their productions. Islamists in northern Mali have amputated the hand of a man accused of stealing a motorcycle, and the Food and Agriculture Organization has urged the United States to reduce the production of biofuel to prevent a food crisis. Just a reminder, you can monitor GRTS Radio live on our website at www.grts.gm. That brings us to the end of the news. Thanks for joining us and stay tuned. Enjoy the range of our interesting